Hey everybody, I'm Jimmy Pardo. Welcome to Jimmy's Records and Tapes. This week I'm talking about my 5 favorite songs that feature the harmonica.
We've got it on vinyl, CD and cassette.
We've got pop, rock, heavy metal, punk, funk, rap, and new wave. All sales are final, but you'll never regret all the music you get at Jimmy's Records and Tapes.
I'm loving music again. Hey everybody, welcome to Jimmy's Records and Tapes. I'm the Jimmy in the title Jimmy's Records and Tapes. Behind me are records and tapes. Good news, guys. For those that have been asking, we've added a musical instrument portion to our store. Section of our store. So good news. If you're looking to get yourself some guitar strings, maybe a guitar pick, really that's all we carry, and a few harmonicas, which fits in well with what we're talking about here today. These are my top 5 favorite songs that feature the harmonica. Who doesn't like the harmonica, right? Little does that sound like a trumpet with me maybe somewhat kind of doing what they do with the harmonica? I tried to learn how to play the harmonica as a kid, and I got as far as most every kid did, where it sounds just like a train. That's it. You kind of just go, and that's all. I breathe in, breathe out, and that's about it. Kind of the way that you would put it next to a body to go, hey, is that guy still alive? I don't know. Hey, Bob, grab your harmonica, put it by his mouth. If he plays a mean tune, then we know he's alive. If he doesn't, body bag him! Number 5 of my 5 favorite songs that feature the harmonica comes to us from the Doobie Brothers. This hit number 8 on the charts, and it is Long Train Runnin'. I'm guessing most of you think it's called Without Love, because they go, without love, where would you be now, now, without love? So you don't know that it's called Long Train Running, unless maybe you like the Doobie Brothers. And a lot of people do. Hey, a couple of covers were done of this. Bananarama did a cover, which is pretty cool. And an Italian band called Trax did a version of it that you could check out on YouTube. And if you'd like to see a lead singer with pants that I can't quite describe. I don't know why these were chosen, except for the fact that I'm talking about him this many years later. He also will make you feel things that you're not sure how you want to feel, both with anger and maybe sexually. He makes some poses and some choices that only a swarthy Italian lead singer can do. Anyway, number 5, the Doobie Brothers, Long Train Running, which again, you probably know as Without Love. Number 4. Here's the thing. I have a love of Woodstock and everything Woodstock. I don't quite understand it. I don't care for the filthy hippie. I'd like to keep my temple clean, right? I don't experiment with any sort of poisons or toxins, except for Coke Zero, which of course I love, and I don't care how many of you write to me and say, hey, you should stop drinking Coke Zero. That's what I use to clean my windshield and also down my drain. I got it. It's my one and only vice, man, other than fantasy baseball. Who am I keeping that from? Person over there, apparently. This is by Canned Heat, and it's called On the Road Again. And the reason I bring up Woodstock is going up the country kind of features strongly the beginning of the movie, the documentary about Woodstock. Going up the country. And I think that's a great song. And that made me then dive deeper into Canned Heat. And so therefore I enjoyed On the Road Again. I just did the Willie Nelson version. I don't know why this is number 4. Maybe it's way too high on the list, considering that I can't sing a single note of it for you as an example right now. But don't forget that I can give you Without Love. Where would we be now, now, without love? Number 4, On the Road Again by Canned Heat. Number 3. Look, I think legally everybody from Chicago has to like these guys. And there's really nothing not to like. They're fantastic. I'm talking about the Blues Brothers, John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd, which I guess, some people thought it was done initially for comedy. It really, they did it because they loved the music. And if you listen to that first album, Briefcase Full of Blues, that is it's got some of the best blues session guys in the business playing with them. And Belushi's voice isn't that bad, and I assume Aykroyd's good on the harmonica. So I'm choosing Hey Bartender of all of the Blues Brothers songs that feature the harmonica. I like it. It was first done by Floyd Dixon. Johnny Lee did a version of it that went to number 2 on the country chart. I don't know if the Blues Brothers charted. Seems like something I should have looked up. Unlike a lot of other kids that grew up in the 80s, of course, at some point I was part of a talent show, a variety show in high school where we did Soul Man by the Blues Brothers. I was just some guy doing backup vocals while pretending to play keyboard while two guys were Jake and Elwood Blues. And you could offer me, I'm not kidding, you could offer me $1 million. And I couldn't tell you who those two guys are. I couldn't tell you, was it my friends Jerry and Fred? Maybe it was. I don't know. Could it have been Paul and Brian? Could have been them too. I don't know. To this day, I have no idea. Maybe this never happened. Maybe it was just a dream that I was like, hey, the talent show's coming up. And then I went to sleep. And then when I woke up, apparently months later, I was like, hey, we did great as the Blues Brothers. Anyway, number 3, Hey Bartender by the Blues Brothers. Number 2, and I guess it's time for me to just admit I like this guy. I don't know why I've been like, I don't really like Bruce Springsteen my whole life. Because whenever I make these lists, it turns out there's a lot more of the boss popping up that I think would be there. And coming in at number 2, songs that I like that feature the harmonica, Thunder Road by Bruce Springsteen. What a great song. That's it. You've heard it a million times. You don't need me to walk you through it. It's nice. It's got that harmonica. Obviously, that's why we're talking about it. As a reminder, I went to see Bruce Springsteen in concert once, and which I may still be there. I think he's still playing. And during it, that show was so long, I had not one but 2 ice cream cones. I had an ice cream cone, and then the show continued, and I went, you know what I need? Another ice cream cone. This is a 2-cone show. That's what I said about that. I don't know if I said that. Hey, a few honorable mentions before I get to my favorite song that features the harmonica. Obviously, I mentioned Soul Man by the Blues Brothers. I love it. You'd be an idiot not to mention Tangled Up in Blue by Bob Dylan. You'd be an idiot, I say, not to mention that. Then why is that not number 4 then, instead of the tune by Canned Heat that you can't sing one word of? Why not go Tangled Up in Blue? Right? That sounded just like him as far as I'm concerned. Also, Good Girls Don't by the Knack. That's a great song that has the harmonica. I also liked Too Late for Goodbyes by Julian Lennon. And I have a great memory of that, of watching, I think it was the American Music Awards. And they were lip syncing it. And it came time for that harmonica, the part with the harmonica. And Julian didn't have a harmonica, so he just kind of faked it and then just put his hands up. You can see it on YouTube. Maybe I'm not remembering it exactly right, but I do remember at the time then going to the record store the next day. And my buddy Dave loved Julian Lennon. And he's like, what did you think of Julian last night? I go, well, he was obviously lip syncing, so he was great. And Dave was like, no, he wasn't. I go, dude, he didn't even have a harmonica. And then he said, well, guess who doesn't have to work today? Punch out, buddy. You're done. And number 1, my favorite song that features the harmonica comes to us from Canada. Neil Young. This is the live Rust version of Sugar Mountain. He wrote it when he was just 19 years old. About a club that he couldn't get into anymore. You could only be a certain age, and if you aged out of it, you were not allowed in. And the idea that life is all downhill once you turn 21 is what Sugar Mountain is about. And I first heard it, honestly, when I was in 8th grade, I want to say. And then the idea of transitioning from junior high into high school seemed a little overwhelming and maybe a little bit of a life change. And this song resonated with me. And I just, a lot of people, my wife does not care for Neil Young's voice. So what I do when it comes on the radio is I turn it up and then get a punch in the side of my face because she knows that I'm doing it on purpose. And apparently we're a sitcom out of 1957. Number 1, Sugar Mountain by Neil Young. All right, you guys, it's time for this week's Jimmy's Choice. This one, and don't forget, you can tweet these at me, at Jimmy Pardo, right there on Twitter, hashtag Jimmy's Choice, and maybe yours will be in an upcoming episode of Jimmy's Records and Tapes. This one comes to us directly from Twitter, as I advertised. This is from at Schrader Steve. He wants to know, Doobie Brothers versus Steely Dan. Which one leaves the dojo alive? You know what? I like both these bands. I've seen them both in concert. I enjoy them. I enjoyed the Doobie Brothers show more than the Steely Dan show because I got stuck going to a Steely Dan show that was for the fans and not for the casual fan. So guys that love Steely Dan walked out saying, that was the best, man. They did so many deep cuts. Whereas I walked out going, hey, man, that wasn't the best. They did so many deep cuts. I think the first time I discovered the Doobie Brothers was a lot of ways that kids discover music is either through older siblings or whatever, or television. I remember the Doobie Brothers were on What's Happening, which, and I'm going to paraphrase, or maybe I'll get it right, which doobie you be, is what young D said to one of the Doobie Brothers. And we laughed at the young child not knowing which Doobie Brothers she was talking to, and doing it in rhyme, not unlike Nipsey Russell. Another example would be that I discovered Billy Joel through the TV show Bosom Buddies, because his song My Life was used for the opening credits, although not his version, it turns out. But anyway, it led me to Billy Joel just the same. And who didn't like Bosom Buddies with the great Tom Hanks and Peter Scolari? I had the pleasure of meeting Tom Hanks once backstage at Conan. And he thought that I was introduced to him as, this is Johnny Pardo. And I went, actually, it's Jimmy. And so then through the whole conversation, he just kept going, Johnny! Attaboy, Johnny! And it made me laugh. And it made me know that Tom Hanks is as nice of a guy as everybody in the world claims that he is. Anyway, back to business. Doobie Brothers versus Steely Dan. I think, look, here's the truth. I think they're both great. But when push comes shove, I like the Doobie Brothers better. Mainly because of that incident with that concert. Steely Dan let me down. The Dan let me down, man. So I'm going to go with the Doobie Brothers. Hey, that's it for this week's Jimmy's Records and Tapes. If you liked it, clang that bell, smash that like button, as the young YouTubers say. Also, there is now a Spotify playlist. If you search Jimmy's Records and Tapes, you will find that. A guy named Rob H. has compiled all the songs from all the episodes. So that's fun for you to look into. Also, of course, you can follow me at Twitter, at Jimmy Pardo. And, of course, I host the award-winning podcast, Never Not Funny. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, the record's back in its sleeve.